السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وخليله وصفيه وأمينه على وحيه ومصطفاه من خلقه صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد. For sure, without any doubt, all praises are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, along without any partner. We mention Allah's beauty and His perfection. We invoke Him. We call upon Him. We beg Him for aid, for assistance, for help, for mercy, and for forgiveness. Those who are led to the right path, no one can mislead. And those who are misled by Allah Azza wa Jal and sent away from the straight and the correct path, no one can lead aright. I bear witness and I testify that Allah Azza wa Jal, along without any partner, is the only deity worthy of worship. And I bear witness and I testify that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is his servant and the last of his sent messengers. To proceed, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we all know that the month of Dhul Hijjah is fast approaching. We all know that one of the greatest pillars of Islam, one of the greatest physical acts of worship in Islam, the largest, the most grand meeting and congregation of the Muslims is fast upon us. And that is the pillar of Al-Hajj, of leaving your home and traveling across the Atlantic Ocean, leaving your home and coming from the Pacific Ocean, leaving your home and crossing the Sahara Desert or the Gobi Mountains or the steppes or wherever you come from, min kulli fajjin amiq, any corner or crevice from Allah's spacious earth, to go to meet at one place and one time with one divine purpose. It's fast approaching. And we all have heard and we all have seen khutbah after khutbah, class after class about the virtue of this month, Dhul Hijjah, especially the first 10 days. The superiority, the excellence, and the merit of this period of time. Allah has spoken about it in His glorious book, and the Prophet ﷺ has given us a very lucid, a very plain, and a very explicit description and depiction of the excellence of this period of time. So with this being said, and with this being heard, with this being felt, with this being seen, and with this being known, that I want to share with you the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas that is collected by Imam al-Hakim in his Mustadrak bisanadin sahih ala shart al-shaykhain. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. He said, take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. Use 5 things to benefit from 5 things. 5 things are seeds, and there are 5 things which are fruits. 5 things are baby plants, and 5 things become huge, great trees. 5 things are a result of another 5 things. اغتنم. He says, take advantage of these 5 things. Utilize them. Be smart. Be wise. Do not be foolish. If you don't handle these 5 things properly, know for sure when the other 5 things come, there's no way that you can do the right thing. It's impossible. At best. Even when you have the right intention. I want to do good. I want to spend it. I want to learn it. I want to practice it. But you cannot, because it's impossible. Once these 5 things come, khalas, it's done. There's no returning. There's no coming back. So the Prophet ﷺ, his beautiful advice, he said, اغتنم. He said, take as a ghanima, as a treasure. Take as war booty, something that you get after fighting. اغتنم. He said, take advantage, grab and seize 5 things before 5 things. What are these 5 things, brothers and sisters in Islam? What are the 5 things? And if we do know these 5 things, are we actually implementing this hadith? And how does it pertain and relate to the month of Dhul Hijjah? The Prophet ﷺ, he said, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. He said, take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. Ibn Abbas told us in this narration that there was a man that the Prophet ﷺ was explaining, he was speaking to, and he was given a maw'idha, an admonishment. So the Prophet didn't tell this to some of the munafiqeen. He didn't tell this to one of the Jews of Arabia, the Christians of Syria. He told us to a Muslim. He told us to a Sahabi. He told us to a righteous, pious man. Take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. What are these 5 things, O Messenger of Allah? What are they? The Prophet ﷺ, he said, شَبَابَكَ قَبْلَ حَرَمِكَ. He says, take advantage of your youth before your old age. Take advantage when you're young before you're old. Take advantage of your black beard, your black hair, before it becomes white and snowy, before it becomes salt and pepper, before it becomes mixed up and you have to put henna, red and yellow, to disguise your old age. اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. 5 before 5. Number 1, he says, شبابك قبل حرمك. Number 2, وصحتك قبل سقمك. He says, take advantage of your good health before your bad health. Take advantage when you're healthy and strong before when you're sick and poor and weak. The Prophet ﷺ even said, وَغِنَاءَكَ قَبْلَ فَقْرِكَ. Take advantage of your wealth. Take advantage of your affluency. Take advantage of your cash flow before your cash doesn't flow anymore. And it slows down and it cringes and crawls and the money comes in slower and slower and slower. Number 4, the Prophet ﷺ, he then said, وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ. Take advantage of your free time before you become preoccupied. Take advantage of your idle time before you have this to do, that to do, this place to go to, this person, this man, this woman, this bill, this responsibility. Take advantage Last but not least, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَحَيَاتَكَ قَبْلَ مَوْتِكَ. He says, and take advantage of your life before your death. Take advantage of your life before your death. The Arabs, they have a statement. It's the narration that some say, إِنَّ السَّعِيدَ لَمَنْ وُعِذَ بِغَيْرِهِ. He says, وَإِنَّ الشَّقِيَّ لَمَنْ وُعِذَ بِهِ. He says that the happy man is the one who takes lessons from others. And the foolish man is the one who is made a lesson. People take a lesson from him. So the Prophet is telling us in simple, basic words, take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. In other words, these 5 things are a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's not necessarily a condition that you have them. You may not have good youth or good physical strength or wealth. You may not have these things. But the other 5 things will come wala bud. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, Shababaka qabala haramik. I want to go to Medina. I want to go to Mecca. I want to memorize the Quran. I want to study Hadith like you, Mufti, but after medical school. After I graduate from law school. I want to get an engineering degree first, then I go to Medina. No, you're not. That's a waste of time. You're lying to yourself. You're going to go to school. You're going to be a businessman. You're going to get this degree, and then you're going to get married. You're going to have 1 child, 2 children, 3, 4, 5, and then that's it, khalas. And you're going to sit back and say, dag, subhanAllah, I had the chance to go to Medina. I was young, I was strong. I could have memorized the Quran by heart, but I chose the dunya. Is it haram to be an engineer? No, it is not. It is a bad thing? No, it is not. That's not what we're saying. But if you want to study, you only have 1 option. You only have 1 window. You only have 1 opportunity. If you miss the opportunity, that's it. Forget about it. Because you're going to get older. Because you're going to become busy. Because there's going to be financial responsibilities upon you. Because you now have a wife and children that is impossible. Or even deeper than that. If you have the opportunity to study Islam and you don't push it to the limit, as we say, you don't work hard, and you become the imam of a masjid or the leader of a community, you become the head of a center, or you become a member on a board or an organization. Now you want to seek knowledge, you want to learn, you want to study, but it's khutbah, class, counseling, marriage, divorce. There's no time to pick up a book and open up a book. So the smart man, the wise woman, is the one who takes advantage of the youthful years before the old years. And this is universal wisdom that applies to any other aspect of life. Even with being an engineer. Study engineering while you're young. When your mind is elastic. When it's springy and fresh. When you don't have stress and worry. And the list goes on. The Prophet ﷺ, he then said, وَصِحَّتَكَ قَبْلَ مَرَضِكَ أو قَبْلَ سَقَمِكَ. He says, and take advantage of your good health before your bad health. How many Muslims have diabetes? How many Muslims have cancer? How many Muslims have this syndrome and that syndrome? You go to the hospitals. How many Muslim sisters are sitting in the hospital beds? How many Muslim men are sitting in the hospital beds? And wallahi, they wish that they could get up and go and take their sons to the park and throw a baseball with them. I wish I could eat some food, but the doctor says you can't eat no more red meat. There's no lamb and rice for you. There is no more tea for you. You can't eat that, you can't drink that because of your body. And they wish to do the most simple, easy things, but it's too late. Because when you were younger, you smoked cigarettes, and you went to drink, and you wanted to take care of your health. You abused your body. You abused the things that Allah Azza wa Jalla gave you. So when the sickness comes, don't even waste your time and dreaming. Don't even waste your time and thinking about having strength once more because it's too late. You didn't take the advantage of the Prophet ﷺ's advice. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he says, وَغِنَاءَكَ قَبْلَ فَقْدِكَ. He says, and take advantage when you have money before you become poor. Take advantage of money before you become poor. As we say, put your money up for a rainy day. Put your money up for a slow day. When you get fired, when the market crashes, when there's no work to do, save your money, invest your money, let your money grow and mature. Because a time will come in which you will need that money. A time will come in which your family will need that money. And only a fool is the one who only thinks about today. Only a fool is the one who thinks about the tip of his nose. And he doesn't look past the tip of his nose. But the wise Muslim, the smart Muslim, is the one who realizes the value of wealth and the power of wealth and the importance of money. And it is not to be misused. It is not to be abused. It is meant to be invested. It is meant to grow. It is meant to mature. So when you don't want to work, or you don't have the ability to work, or, Akhi, I need to borrow some money. Here, take it. Tafaddal. The master needs some money. Here, you got it. It's yours. Because I invested my money. I was smart with my wealth, and I did not be, or was not a spendthrift. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, وَفَرَاغَكَ قَبْلَ شُغْلِكَ. He says, and take advantage of your free time when you don't have any free time. Take advantage of this simple opportunity that you have. Take advantage of the khutbah before the end of the khutbah. Take advantage of the words of the khatib and the forgiveness of your sins and the angels writing your name down, because those people are going to come in the masjid and they're going to leave the masjid. They're going to make noise, they're going to talk, or they're going to be quiet. Don't waste your Jumu'ah. Do not allow yourself to be distracted. The Prophet, he says, take advantage of your free time before you are busy. As if Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu clearly understood this hadith. He was a student of the Prophet ﷺ's institute in his university. And he explained to the Sahaba, he explained to the Tabi'een, he said, تَفَقَّهُ قَبْلَ أَن تَسُودُوا وَبَعْدَ أَن تَسُودُوا. He says, seek knowledge before you take authority. Learn before you become a leader and a chief. And he also said, and continue to learn. Don't stop learning. And the same applies to free time. Soak up everything that's beneficial, everything that is useful, everything that you can utilize, because a time will come in which you have responsibilities. A time will come in which you don't have the ability to sit and to reflect and ponder. You don't have the peace of mind anymore because you're now a father, you're now a mother, you're now an employer, you're now a boss, you're now a supervisor. But I don't want to do this anymore. I want to sit, I want to relax, I want to read my book, I want to drink my cup of coffee. But there's no time for that anymore. So get it while it's good, while we say. That's how we say. Get it while it's good. Take advantage when you have the opportunity and not before it's too late. Last but not least, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, and take advantage of your life before death. Why did he conclude the hadith saying this? In other words, thereafter is considered to be the day of harvest. And this dunya, this worldly life, is considered to be the back-breaking, the painful toiling in the field. You stand in the sun, you bend over, you break your back, you work hard, you exert yourself, because a day will come in which is nothing more but buying and selling. A day will come in which there's nothing but profit and loss. A day will come in which there's nothing but good deeds and bad deeds. There's no trading, there's no bargaining, there is no performing of actions. It's done, it's finished, khalas, it's up. What do you have to sell? How many bushels did you bring? I only have 1 bushel. You only produce 1 bushel of corn? 1 barrel, 1 stack of hay? Because you didn't work hard enough. And now it's too late. And the regret must come. The sorrow must come. But it's of no benefit. It's of no point. The sorrow can't help you on this day. The loss that you put forth for your own self is of no benefit in thinking about and reflecting. As Allah clearly tells us, ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ التَّغَابُنِ. Allah says that is the day of a taghabun, the day in which there's mutual loss. There'll be losers, there'll be winners. They'll be happy and they'll be miserable. The losers, the successful, the happy are those who invested, those who took advantage of 5 things before 5 inevitable things. So what are you doing? What are you going to do with the rest of Dhul Qa'dah, the rest of Dhul Hijjah? Are you going to let day turn into night, night turn into day? Day turned into week, week turned into month turned into year? How many years have you been smoking cigarettes? You haven't stopped yet. How many years have you been doing these haram acts? You haven't stopped yet. When do you want to stop? When we carry you, when we make an announcement at the masjid, Fulan has died, the janazah is tomorrow. When are you going to stop? When are you going to wake up from your sleep and from your drunken state? When are you going to become sober? Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salatullahi wa salamuhu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa amma ba'd. Oftentimes, brothers and sisters, family members, friends and relatives, they come to me and they say to me, they say, Mufti, why do you do so many classes? Why do you teach so many classes? Take a break. Make it easy upon yourself. Give yourself a rest. You have nothing to prove. Khalas, there's more than enough classes that you do. Give it a break, give it a rest. Take some time off for yourself. A very dear friend, a very close friend, an elder in Islam, this morning I spoke to him on the phone and he said, take it easy. He says, you're getting older, you're not getting any younger. That's what he said to me. And some people, they may ask me, may not giving me advice or telling me what to do, take it easy, just slow down a bit. Slow the pace down just a little bit. Some people, they say, how do you find the time in 24 hours? Some of my students, they ask me, how do you read so much? How do you have time to answer the questions? How do you go here? One video you're in this country, the next video you're in another country. Where do you find the time and the energy and the drive, the inspiration? Where do you find the motivation to do all of this? And oftentimes I tell them, and oftentimes I tell them not. There were things that happened in my life, 2 things that had a profound effect upon me and my look and my philosophy on life and on dawah. And it has a direct connection in relation to this hadith. When I left for Medina in 2002, my grandfather from my mother's side, he was of full strength and full health. He was older. He had a stroke before, but he was strong. He was strong. We would sit, we would talk, we would go places. Everything was fine. I went to Medina, and when I came back, he was in a hospital bed. He was laying flat. He couldn't talk. He could barely move. He could barely shake his head. He could barely do anything, and he had a tube sticking down his neck. And the doctor said he's dying from brain cancer. His life now is in a downward spiral. It's pretty much no chance of him coming back. So I said to my grandfather, and I looked at him after I was gone for several months. He became sick, and I wasn't there for him. We had a very close relationship. I said, say La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Tell me now that you believe in Islam and that Jesus is not your Lord and Jesus is not your God. But he couldn't talk. It was breathing with a tube. It was something sticking down his trachea, his throat. He couldn't make any sound. So what is he going to do? So I told him, I said, if you believe in what I'm saying, and if you understand what I'm saying, then squeeze my hand. When I got to the hospital, his hand was weak and it was limp. And when I told him that, he grabbed my hand tightly. And then that was it. That's the last time I saw him. And after that, he was in a casket in a box. Did he die upon Islam? Did he take the Shahada? Allah knows best. But one thing's for sure. I told myself, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be on that hospital bed, not moving, not talking, without fulfilling my destiny and living every single day to the fullest by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Years later, I went overseas. I came back again, and my father became sick. He became very ill. He got cancer once more, not brain cancer, but prostate cancer. And I saw him, and wallahi al-azim, my father, when he was alive, was one of the strongest people that I knew. One of the smartest people, one of the wisest people, one of the wittiest men that I came across in my life. And I sat down and I looked at him sitting on the bed, and I pitied him. I pitied him. The mighty warrior, the mighty scholar, the mighty this, the mighty that is no more. He doesn't know what's right, what's wrong. He can't clean himself. He can't use the bathroom by himself. And he's sitting there with no power, no strength, nothing. And the doctor comes in, he says, you know, it's not much that we can do for him. Maybe we should take him out of the hospital and take him home. It's nothing that we can do. He has 4th stage of cancer. Khalas, that's it. Wallahi, when that happened to me, I said to myself once more, I'm not going to allow this to take place unless I feel that I've given my 100% amount of effort in doing that which Allah has chosen me to do. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, take advantage of your youthful years before your old years. Did my grandfather think about that hadith? Did he know about that hadith? Did my father think about that hadith? Allah knows best. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, take advantage of your health before you're sick. Did they know that? Did they realize that? Did they take advantage of that? Allah knows best. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, take advantage of your wealth before you become poor. How much money costs to go and see the doctors? One visit. One chemotherapy. How much does a funeral cost? How much does a casket cost? A lot costs. And the list goes on and on and on of expenses. Take advantage of your wealth before a time comes in which you don't have any wealth. The Prophet ﷺ says, take advantage of your free time before you become busy and preoccupied. When I sit down, I open up a book, my phone rings. Then there's a WhatsApp, there's a text message, there's an email, there's a Skype, there's a Viber, there's a Mufti Hadith email, there's an Ibn Munir email, there's a sister in the masjid, a brother in the masjid, a student, a class, a lecture, Q&A. And I said, I want to just sit and read and benefit and drink my tea, but I can't because I now have responsibilities. So if I'm stupid and foolish, when the people are away from me and my phone is off and I've traveled to another country, the smart thing to do, Mufti, is to sit and read and study and enjoy yourself. Because when you get back to America, when you go to the masjid, it's nothing going to be phone call, problem, counseling, advice. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, and take advantage of this life before the next life. Death means nothing to a Muslim. Death is nothing to a Muslim. Death is not the end of the world to the Muslim. Everybody must die. Everyone has to leave this earth. Your beauty is going to fade. Your strength is going to turn into weakness. Your power, your knowledge will turn into you becoming what? Senile and not forgetting. You don't know the name of your own son, the name of your wife, and you are a great scholar of Islam. It all goes away. But the righteous deeds remain. The piety remains. The forgiveness that the people will make for you, that does not go away. So take advantage, ya akhi. You, young, take advantage of your youth. Take advantage of your youth. Don't let the years slip out of your hands because wallahi, they will slip very, very fast. And before you know it, you're old and you have a wife and you have children and you can't do what you wanted to do before. So with regards to Dhul Hijjah, in these 10 days, are you going to fast? Are you going to read the Quran? Are you going to pray at night? Are you going to visit the sick? Are you going to visit the orphans and the widows and give the charity and give the sadaqah? Are you going to allow Dhul Hijjah to be just like Dhul Qa'dah? Are you going to allow the month after month after month to pass by? So that's the advice and that's the message that I want to give for myself and for all of my brothers and sisters on Islam. Wake up, be smart, take advantage of today, right here, right now, because tomorrow is not promised for you. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله